Hello, welcome in. I'm so happy you're here today. Yes, please take a seat, be comfortable. I'll be your interior design consultant for today. So just sit back, relax. I would like to get started with a few questions to get to know your vision for your beautiful new home. Okay, wonderful. Let me just go ahead and pull up the form. Okay, all right. Yes, thank you so much for calling us earlier last week. We were happy to give you an appointment today. Yeah, and the questions we'll go through are going to be really about the style of the home. I do know already you're sort of looking for more luxurious home, right? So there's a few elements you're going to want for that, right? Exactly. And as we meet together, if you feel this relationship is, going in the right direction for your home, we'll dive deeper into much more details, timelines, budgets. Right now, it's really just gathering information and really hearing your needs, your wants, so that I can go back to our team and make sure that we synthesize all this information and provide you with some tangible timelines, next steps, recommendations, and really help you build the luxurious home you're looking for. Right. Okay, so let's begin the form. Let's start with your overall style. How would you describe the aesthetic you're drawn to? Words like modern, coastal, eclectic, organic, glam. Okay. Alright. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I love that. Yeah. And what colors make you feel most at home? And are there any you'd prefer to avoid completely? Okay. Right. Okay. You're a little open. Okay. Okay. No, that makes sense. So it sounds like you're a little open to color, but really want the foundations of some neutrals. Right. And anything you would like to avoid. You got it. Absolutely. Okay, thank you. And we'll continue to do color exploration because I do find my clients tend to open up a little when you start to see things played out in examples and mood boards. You start to see things for how they could be and the possibilities that you have. So I would say feel a little open, but know your limits and know that we are here to listen to that and make sure we push you in the direction you genuinely want to be in. Next question, are there any textures or materials that you love? For example, linen, marble, reclaimed wood, brushed golds. Okay. Yeah, it's totally fine if you're unsure of like the specific name, and we can give you some samples as well to sort of bring you options you may haven't heard of before. Okay. Yeah, do your best. Okay. Exactly. Okay. Perfect. All right. Would you say you're more minimal, or do you enjoy a layered, curated look with more visual interest? And of course, minimal can still have some interest. It's just a little along the veins of less is more. So it really depends on your belongings, how you see them existing in this space, what kind of space at the end of the day do you want to create for other people visiting your home or for entertaining, if that's even something you wish to do. Right. Okay. Yeah, and it could vary per room. Right. Okay. Lovely. Thank you. Yes. Such detailed answers. Next question is, what kind of lighting do you prefer? Bright and open, soft and ambient, or adjustable for different moods? Right. Yes, if you're starting with construction, it's going to allow you to really work with the environment of the land. And of course, you're gonna have the lighting impacted from natural lighting. So based on where the windows are, we can talk further. Much more details later. But yeah, absolutely. Okay, so a lot of natural light. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. How do you want your space to feel when you walk in the door? Grounded, inspiring, luxurious, peaceful, maybe all of those. Yes. Yeah, I do get that a lot, actually. Okay. Lovely, thank you. Are there any rooms that are especially important to get right? Maybe a cozy bedroom, a spa-like bathroom, or your kitchen? What rooms are really top of mind for you? Okay. The library, okay. And the bathroom, okay. Absolutely. And you're welcome to change these answers at any time, right? This is really just getting the conversation started. I imagine you're going to have many decisions ahead of you, and you're likely going to change your mind, especially as it takes time to put together such a luxurious home. So don't be afraid to change your mind, and don't be afraid to voice that to me because I'm going to want to know. I'm going to want to help you and accommodate you where I can. So let's see, this next question is, will you be working from home in any part of the space? If so, what does your ideal work setup look like? Okay. No worries. If you want to get their answers on what they want for their space, you can send it to us separately. But for sure, you can let us know what you're thinking for your own office. Ooh, okay. I love that. Okay, perfect. Do you have children, pets, or guests that we should consider when choosing furniture and materials? Okay, just a few. Cats and dogs. How many specifically? Okay, 2 cats. And how large are the dogs? Okay. Oh, they all get along well, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's great. And we'll want to make sure we choose things that are easy for cleanups and comfortable for your pets as well. You do want to entertain guests. And are they guests that live with you, or is it just for like entertainment or hosting? Okay. No problem. But yeah, that can really impact those changes. What's your dream scent for the home? Something herbal and calming, maybe more citrusy and energizing, or warm and spicy. If you had to create a scent for your home, what would that smell like? Oh yeah, if you have any candles you love that really exude those scents, you're welcome to bring them in and we can pull together a scent for you. Lovely, yes. Are you more drawn to symmetry and clean lines, or do you like asymmetry and unexpected accents? Okay. Right. Yeah. So certain spaces then you want to have a little more symmetry. Gotcha. Okay. The next question, do you collect anything such as books, art, plants of any kind? Do you have any favorite pieces you want to feature that you've already collected? You did mention a library, so imagining books. There's a few art pieces. Okay, great. If you can send us some photos, I'll definitely want to take a look so I can look at the colors, look at the texture of the art, and see where they, where we'd recommend it. But if you have specific rooms you want them in, please also let us know. Yeah. I'll just make a note to request photos. Okay. Anything else? Okay, just a few sculptures. Okay. Great. Is there a particular designer, hotel, or space you've seen that really inspires you in your new home? Ooh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Love that. Yeah. And of course, you'll probably spend a lot more time finding inspiration now that you're meeting with us and going over all these details. I imagine that you are going to have far more inspo to come. So, like I said, feel free to continue to share that with us. Alright, we are winding down to the last few questions here. What are some everyday comforts that matter most to you? Plush rugs, deep sofas, blackout curtains, a cozy breakfast nook. What are some things you have had top of mind? Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. And that's in the library, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sure you'll have more to come, right? So we'll just take note of these for now, and then we'll definitely dive deeper as we meet. Yeah. Okay, my last question. Are there any non-negotiables for you, must-haves or hard no's, that I should know before we continue on? Yeah, either or. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, I'm sure we can make that work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any hard no's? Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah, I think you really gave us a lot of detail already. This is really going to get our plans into motion. So thank you so much for really diving deeply into that with us. And I've saved all this information. We do have a portal we share with our clients where you can go in and adjust information. It will notify us of any updates you want to make. We can update the file as we go along. Okay, so don't worry about that. Alright, I pulled some magazines just based on our initial phone call and luxury homes. I thought I would pull a few magazines for us to flip through so that you could see some homes in action. And I know that you're looking for a coastal home, so we have a few magazines that have coastal aesthetics. This first one is Modern Luxury Interiors, Los Angeles. So this is going to be more LA, definitely luxury. So this will have plenty of inspiration to get us getting those creative juices flowing. Right. Okay, so that's the first one we can go through together. And the second one here is Dream Homes, Orange County, which is right next to LA. And these are actually homes that are going to just be on the market essentially, and will basically give you a sense of what's out there in modern day homes on the coast. It's a little more suburban, but I feel like it gives you a contrast to the LA one. And you'll start to see maybe some changes or differences and what you might want in your home. Okay? So we'll go through these together. So just relax, get comfortable. I'll come alongside you and we can flip through these together. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and go through these magazines together. We'll just get some inspiration from anything that captures your attention. How does that sound? Perfect. Okay. I'll go ahead and start with this first one, all right? So here we have modern luxury interiors. Los Angeles. So these will definitely give you some of the more West Coast vibes, but we can explore other themes and areas as we get to meet with one another and go over what you're looking for. Okay. So it says California love, dreamy homes from the beach to the hills. The designer collabs to know now. Get fresh kitchen and bath trends to inspire. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up. So already we're seeing a very modern area. Some very fluffy looking couches. So you can definitely go a little more unique with furniture. There does appear to be just a few pops of color, even though there is more neutrals going on as well. More of the cloud-like furniture. We've got some earthy vibes, little bohemian touch here. This has a nice window architecture, though it is pretty unique, so it depends on kind of what you would want window treatments wise. Again, the pops of color and the bedding, the decor, but everything is pretty neutral. Here we have a lovely kitchen, very coastal vibes. You can see the ocean in the background here. Some marble paneling here, very unique angling, this sort of island counter space. Then you have your counter space back here. The only drawback is with pantry or storage, doing a lot of open shelving. Depends on the storage you would like, your daily use of these items, you would definitely want a place to store a majority of your food, and so you want to keep that in mind as well. You could definitely make sure we have a pantry dedicated to the space you need, out of sight, out of mind. Okay. Here we have a darker tone kitchen, more black marble. Here, it's the Italian sense of beauty. Definitely unique. Okay, more edgy and contemporary pieces. This is interesting. This actually reminds me of the living room from WandaVision, the TV show from Disney Plus. The show goes through different eras, and the 70s, this definitely reminds me of that part of the show. But obviously very open back window, very interesting dome feature. It almost feels like you're underground a little bit. But you have the nice couches, 70s-esque tones going on, shapes, very drawing back to a level of the 60s, 70s, maybe even 80s. Right, you've got the cactus here. Lots of coastal vibes. You like the tones? Okay, we could definitely keep that in mind. Yeah. No, I understand. Okay. All right. More. Here we have some nice lighting, very unique, and a very lovely statement to the room. These chairs look very comfortable. I'm all about comfortable dining room chairs because a lot of the time we're spending time with loved ones around the table eating food. If you love to host, I really recommend comfortable dining chairs to keep your guests comfortable. Right. Okay. A nice warm kitchen here, lots of darker wood if you're interested in that. Looks like there's plenty of storage. Right. Very practical if you're planning to be in the kitchen. This is interesting. This is definitely more of like an event space, I would imagine. But if you ever wanted to build like a bar or an area for more parties or entertainment, something like that is very unique. More coastal vibes. Okay. Get you some lovely dinnerware, unique sets for you and accompanying the decor you choose. Bloomingdale's probably offers a lot of that. You can see these lovely candelabras. I love seasonal decor. It really helps you bring out the space in a way each season that makes it feel a little new, a little different without, having to rely on the same pieces. And honestly, you can keep them forever and pass them down to loved ones. So this is gorgeous sort of cheese board display. Alright, more luxury home pieces that you can browse. Bedding, linens, everything like that. Unique artwork. More dinnerware. Right. Lovely fabrics. More dinnerware. Again, you can make it seasonal. Beautiful. Oh, here we have a lovely, beautiful emerald green green bathroom. So this is beautiful because you just have such luxurious tones through the marbling of the marble, the green. And then you have the more opaque drawers. Of course, this is built in, so this is definitely a design you could think about for the bathroom. How beautiful it is, how also warm and relaxing it can be as well, depending on the lighting situation, the natural lighting you have in the bathroom. Right. Then we have another kitchen here. This is definitely a range stove here, something very full stop, if you will, making sure you have everything you need to cook lovely dinners for your guests. Right. Okay, here we have some lamps or lighting fixtures. It says here, weaving magic, lighting crafted from rattan wicker and other natural fibers, weaves an organic element into the kitchen and casts culinary spaces in a new light. These artisan-crafted lights drape kitchens in a soft, ambient glow, blending texture, sustainability, and undeniable flair. We also have Moroccan magic. Zalij tiles are having a moment in design, breathing new life into centuries-old Moroccan craft. These multi-tonal, shimmering tiles infuse an element of handcrafted artistry, transforming the space with a sense of timeless heritage. I definitely think tiles can be a beautiful addition to your space, particularly the bathroom, so highly recommend looking at these. Okay, yeah. Maybe some inspo for your outdoor space. Again, depending on the backyard and what you would like to do with that. A different vein. Statement counter slabs have become the cornerstone of a modern kitchen. We rounded up some all-weather options with bold colors and unique veined patterns that will surely be the bedrock of a beautiful kitchen. Of course, such beautiful options. I really love the earthy tones. That's very coastal, very western. You also have a little purple here. Very beautiful. So if you're not interested in stark, typical white, black marbles, I would definitely consider the earth tones or greens to provide more grounding, color palette and provide something a little new to the space that hasn't been done before. Right. Okay, lovely green, olive shade sofa here. Got some pops of oranges. Lots of greens and oranges lately. Okay. More luxurious lounging options, especially if you like reclining. These look like unique light fixtures that are almost like pieces of art. Yes, definitely depends on your taste and preference. Oh, I love this. Very beautiful, comforting. Reminds me a lot of like the 90s a little bit. Very practical magic, if you will. Practical Magic movie has such a beautiful home. And there's so many moments in that movie that really focus on the home space really well. And I really love that about that movie. But yes, these tones really give me like 80s, 90s feels. Okay, here we have Rhapsody in Blue. More collection, features, looks like drawer handles. So featuring different artists in this magazine. Beautiful coffee tables. This is very beautiful. Just kind of bringing in shapes and elements that really work well together. You know, I do love a lot of mix of rounded corners versus sharp lines. It can really break up a space if you notice how sometimes feeling restricted or boxed in, you have a lot of harsh lines, but soft curves can really break up the space for you. Okay, life and design. Very Palm Springs-esque. More art pieces. More outdoor furniture to create a cozy environment even outside. Of course, on the exterior we have a lot of focus, I would say, on these sort of blocks, right? It looks like you've laid them right on top of each other. I would say this design has probably been around for decades, really, and is just being reinvented as we go along. But I love how the greenery is really sort of incorporated into, it reminds me of the park in New York at the High Line, where it's a park made from a railroad that they refurbished into a park, and I think it was a railroad or subway. It was like an old subway road. But yeah, that reminds me of it. This is really beautiful. I like how warm and inviting this is, even though it's a little bit more modern. So it's not exactly, traditional lines. You have a lot of full-length windows, smooth edges. You know, there's no paneling or anything like that. The roof looks like wood. But there's some, lovely rounded features like the sofa, the coffee table, things like that, bringing in softness. Also a lovely kitchen. So this is a story about a specific project. Example, it says the clients wanted a California modernist home characterized by a seamless indoor-outdoor connection without compromising the comfort and practicality necessary for their family. And I can really tell that is the vibe coming out. They gravitated toward natural materials, warm woods, and cast-in-place concrete. It's beautiful. Lots of lovely light coming through. And it does have that practical sense about it as well. Looks like it's actually being lived in. A bathroom. They talk about the challenges, the outcomes. Beautiful. Lovely pool area. Looks very relaxing. Okay. Looks like another project. Happy Hacienda. Using salvaged wood, bold patterns, and bright colors, they create an old world style home with a twist. Okay, oh, I love that artwork. Love this little area. I'm not sure how useful having little seats are here, though. Of course, I feel this is probably for the aesthetic. Maybe to like take off your shoes to get outside the door. I could see that. I could see that being maybe the use for it. Although in other ways, I don't really know that anyone's just sitting on these two stools, unless there's a whole living room. But yeah, you kind of have to decide what type of luxury you really need and want at the end of the day, and the use of space. Right. Okay, so here we have probably the living room. Lovely pops of blue, a little bit of red. Sort of cabin log wood here. Fireplace, a nice big coffee table. I do see a stool here, probably for additional seating. We have a lovely kitchen. It looks like a breakfast table. Big island with a bar and storage, enclosed with a little bit of open storage. Nice lighting. And they're using some soft greens, and the wood sort of brings like tones of orange already. Okay, here we have the bedrooms, some wine tones, beautiful rugs. Ooh, a beautiful bathroom. Look at that backsplash there. The tiles. Definitely you could do something like that. And you don't need to do the whole, room, right? We saw that emerald bathroom with everything, marble. But this is a great way to have an accent wall. You'll see the other walls are even reflected in the mirror. You'll see it's just wallpaper. And again, even those can be accents. So there's a lot of texture and play you can have with wallpaper, tile, paint. Yeah, this is beautiful. Another pool. Here we have another family room. Very warm tones. These look comfortable. I wonder if they are. Little breakfast nook. Very cute. So if you have a space like that where it's a little awkward to maybe have a traditional table, or maybe you want to incorporate a bench, that's something we could explore. Right. Here we have a large fireplace. Almost like speckled tile. Very warm tones, very earth tones. So, it depends on the color palettes you're really looking to include, and they can vary from room to room, but I would say, try to have the colors you would want to live with for a while, as it's going to be very difficult to replace things that aren't paint, like wood, flooring, and hardwares or counters, that kind of thing. Right, you can always add color with decor, like pillows, rugs, kind of thing. This is giving very desert, right? Some unique chairs. Definitely a hacienda vibe. Here we have modern classic. This is a historic mid-century home. Is given a much needed glow up, preserving the original charm while adding fresh, thoughtful touches. I love that. Okay, very bright space, lots of windows, comfy couches. Got a little texture with some velvet and leather, round coffee table. Really helps break up all the squares going on. Little office nook. Dining room. The kitchen, very gorgeous. Lovely stove. See that earthy marble? It's not quite white or black, it's more earth tone, taupe colors. Brings a little more natural feel to it. not as stark. Got some textured wood here. Very, very nice touch. Yeah, this is a really nice inspo. Okay. Bright and airy room. I like this palette. I feel like the creams are warm. They're comfortable. They're inviting, and you can play around with the warmth with different color palettes. Right. Looks like in the bathroom they did wallpaper, darker marble. Okay, here, material matters. Focusing on some touches here, some features. Nice bright kitchen, so of course you can go brighter, more white tones. Here we have a nice black and white theme. I love this. Beautiful sort of lattice. It's giving more Parisian, French, throwing in touches of traditional here. The rounded bathtub, the molding here. Yeah, it's beautiful. Très chic. Black and white kitchen with some gold hardware. Oh, this is beautiful. Olive green and earth tones. I know there's so many color palettes to choose from, but I know that we'll find something you really love and want to stick with for the long haul. Yeah. More inspo. Yeah, cool tones have a lot of options as well. I don't think you always necessarily need to stick with grays. You can do purples, blues, just in cooler palettes. You know, color can still be invited in those spaces. Right. Some more inspo for you to take a look at. Looks like this is talking about a location as well. Alright, and then we have all the different designers featured. Okay, so that concludes our first luxury interior design magazine. So let's go ahead and check out the next one. Okay, so here we have Orange County Dream. So this is an issue for Orange County, which is right near LA. So it's got similar coastal California vibes, probably a little bit more suburban, but we'll see. We'll see what we get into here. Okay. Definitely bright coastal already. We're already seeing some homes that feature practical setups for the most part. Very typical, but still a luxurious feel. I think that's a tennis court. So if you want to build a tennis court, right? It's featuring some more homes. So a lot of exterior options you can go with, right? How many garages you're going to need, maybe how big the pool you want, right? It all depends on obviously your family and of course how many you want to accommodate from a living standpoint as well as entertainment. I love features like this where it feels a little more rustic on the outside, lovely option to go with. Wine cellar. Things to think about. Some artwork features. Okay. Very coastal Newport vibes here. Okay. Be near the coast. Look at that. Okay. Could do some lovely landscaping. I like the, incorporation of grass with stone. It's always a nice touch. Right. So that's like a nice iron gate. Garage doors can be also very nice. I know that can also feel like an eyesore sometimes, but this is a nice version, I feel. Lovely interior here. Love the coffee table. Very nice. Brings in some warmth. Laguna Beach. Little feature on Laguna Beach. Very beautiful beach. Lovely. More artwork. Wow, look at that. Features, beaches, very beautiful. Alright, so this definitely has a very large window looking out, and you'll see this a lot with a lot of coastal homes. They have a lot of windows because often the homes are a lot smaller. They're still very pricey, but you can see there's a lot of people. So often the windows are like the entire side of a house because they're a little bit shorter or smaller, I should say. They'll go a few stories up, but you can see that, a lot of the wall space is using window. So it really depends on you and your view. This is obviously that choice in these areas. It looks like they have a patio, and they have a lot of lovely light coming in, probably for a necessary reason due to the fact they have a beautiful view, and also probably because of the limitations of how big the space is. But not that all houses are super small, but some cascading waterfall here for the pool. So yeah, you can look at these homes and get some inspo on some coastal designs. This one's nice. Got some cream, warm colors going on. I like to look at these just to get a sense of what other homes have. Really get that inspiration. Right. Also, even just the architecture and layout of a lot of places can really give you that sense of seeing it in reality, right? Mm-hmm. Wow, look at this. I can't imagine this is a home. The sand castle. This looks like a castle, quite literally. It looks like a hotel, but it's definitely, I think, a home. It's quite magnificent, depending on that being your vibe. Ooh, I like this room a lot. It's is using some windows, but it's, you know, bringing in the natural light. It has a little stairwell here that looks really nice. Beautiful pieces. I know, it can be so hard to decide. Coastal. Yeah, often in the coast area of California, you get like a Tuscan vibe, or you're getting a beachy vibe. So, yeah. More properties. Look at that. This looks like the Cullen house from Twilight. Yeah, very important thing I needed to point out. Right. This is a lovely version of a modern architecture, but you still have some like features that feel a little more traditional. More waterfront spaces. Yeah. Nice backyard. This is a beautiful entryway. Yeah. This is a lovely kitchen. Love the doors. Feels very lovely. Earth tones. Properties, luxury properties to get inspired by. This is beautiful. This honestly feels like it was from a movie set, and it might have been. It looks like it's from a show. I can't put my finger on it. Oceanfront properties. More properties with tennis courts, pool. Wow, that's a beautiful. Properties. All right, this is a nice, cozy, coastal space. You got your living room, dining room, kitchen area. Love the warmth. Of course, the view doesn't hurt. Beautiful. It really is about how can you make your home really be a part of your environment where you are. Make the most of it. Part of the land. Right. Not everyone seems to make the most tasteful decisions, right? But yeah, it is your home, and you'll get to put your stamp on it and make it your own. So, something to really make sure you're happy with and sit with. Yeah, that's beautiful. Looks like they're using solar paneling as well. Solar energy is definitely a must in California specifically, where sunlight is very present. Some rugs. Get some rugs. Love a good rug. Okay. I think that concludes this magazine. It's just more a list of realtors in California. But as you can see, it does give you a sense of more coastal inspo. A little bit more practical, I would say, than the other one. But lots to learn either way. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad we could go through this together. Right. Okay. Alright, what did you think about the magazines? Lots of fun stuff, right? I know, yeah. So I'll just mark that we went through consultation meeting is for us to dive deeper into some of the specifics, timelines, layouts, if we need to talk to other individuals, right? To really get down to what you're looking for. Yeah, exactly. I'm really excited about what we've started here today. You gave me such a strong vision to work with, and I already have some ideas brewing, so let's go ahead and actually book our next appointment. I'll have mood boards, some color swatches, some layout concepts ready to share so we can really narrow some things down. Would next Tuesday or Thursday work better for you? Okay, Thursday. And same time, 10 a.m.? Okay, 10 a.m. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for trusting me with your modern, luxurious home. And I can't wait to help make it feel comfortable, cozy, and of course, perfectly you. Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yes, you can take the magazines with you. And yeah, thank you again.